I know this post won't get many views or likes or comments. I know it might even be taken down. They might even go so far as to call me anti-Semitic for pointing out the laws a country is genuinely passing. I'm not making it up. They can call me anti-Semitic, but they rarely call me a liar. I wonder why. So let's get into it. Israel just published the final draft of a bill that would allow for the execution of Palestinian prisoners by hanging. But don't worry, because here's the shocking part. It only applies to Palestinians, not Jewish Israelis. So you're good. For anyone who says it's not an apartheid two-tier state, tell them to look at the news, like this. The bill, pushed by far-right Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir, targets Palestinians specifically. Palestinians convicted of murder with what Israel calls terrorist motivation. Executions would happen within 90 days by hanging, carried out by guards given complete immunity. As in, the guards can't later be tried for murder for, pressing the button and carrying out the hanging. Of course, the immunity that the guards get can only be expected to last as long as the state issuing immunity lasts itself. If the state disintegrates somehow, their immunity is over. Just an interesting point of order there. Now, in the West Bank, Palestinians face military courts where just a majority vote from military judges can impose this death sentence. You don't need a grand jury of, comprised of civilians from a variety of places that need to be convinced that the person is absolutely 100% guilty as charged. You don't need it to be unanimous. Nope, just 5 out of 8 votes. Calm. See you in, I don't know, where, hell. You can appeal the verdict, but not the sentence itself, making it essentially an irreversible death penalty once handed over. It's basically a one-way street because you have to win an appeal that the verdict... Hang on. I thought someone was at my door. You'd have to win an appeal that the verdict of the person being charged as guilty is incorrect. You'd have to overturn his guiltiness. You can't appeal the punishment and try to get something like life in prison instead of the death sentence, which is very unlikely. Once a military court in Israel, looking at the statistics of success rates, once a military court in Israel goes to a Palestinian, you're guilty, it's very hard to go from guilty to absolutely not guilty, which is the only way you're going to get out of a death sentence if it's handed over. And you can't scale it back from guilty deserving death penalty to guilty deserving life in prison. That would be a lot more realistic, even in the military court system of Israel, but that's not allowed, right? You can't appeal the sentence. You can only appeal the verdict. For Palestinians with Israeli citizenship, courts can choose between execution or life imprisonment with no possibility of release as part of prisoner exchanges. How generous. How flexible the Israeli state. How considerate. My God, these people are amazing. Condemned prisoners would be isolated in separate facilities, banned from visitors except authorized parties ever meeting them, and their lawyers can't even meet them face to face. It would have to be remotely. That's the news. Now here's the analysis. This legislation further entrenches a dual legal system where Palestinians and Jewish Israelis accused of similar crimes face completely different consequences. Human rights groups have long documented how Israel prosecutes Palestinians in military courts while Jewish settlers in the same territories go through civilian courts. It's much more comfortable for them. The Palestinian Prisoners Club, a long-standing organization, calls this a violation of international humanitarian law and the Geneva Conventions. Not sure Israel cares about those things. Based on track record, I'm not being biased, just going off how Israel has operated. I don't think they care. Now, with 115 Palestinians already serving life sentences and thousands held without charge under administrative detention. Literally, like, you've got no crime lodged against you. You're just in detention, just, at the discretion, at the mercy of the state. This bill takes a quiet double standard that was already present and makes it legal right in your face, reminding us all that legal doesn't make things right. Legal in a country does not mean ethical or moral or fair. Slavery, as an example, for example, slavery, remember, in America was legal. Just until last couple hundred years, it was legal to own a human being and treat them in an unspeakable way, really. Now, Ben-Gvir, Itamar Ben-Gvir celebrated the bill, saying terrorists must be executed so others will be afraid. But rights organizations, even from the Western world, like Amnesty International, sound the alarm bells. A death penalty only if you're a certain ethnicity. 1930s Germany called, they want their identity back. Many would argue the Israeli state have become a very enthusiastic student, torch bearer, carrying forward 1930s Germany-style values in tradition. Separate treatment of people along racial and religious lines very much echoes that kind of model that Germany lived under for a period of time. Like I said at the start, I know this post won't get many views and comments. It might not even stay up long. Not because I'm wrong, not because I'm breaking any community guidelines, but because some people will be made unhappy with the evidence-backed reporting that I can support, that I can cite, that I can pursue a legal appeal to stand by my statements. But some people will try to throw a spanner in the works. I know it might be taken down, therefore they may even go so far as to take further actions or try. As I said, they can call me anti-Semitic, but they rarely call me a liar. And even when they call me anti-Semitic, have a 3-minute conversation with them and they really see their defenses crumble like the Iron Dome did back in June. But I don't bow to agents of spin, to special interests, or the entitled mafia types. I do my part, and that's all we can do. To each according to their ability, and I feel my ability is to report you the unbiased news and analysis without the Western spin. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Mahfouz, and I have a message for you. No sacrifice, no victory. Keep learning. Keep improving your understanding. See how the world truly is, so that one day you can contribute to making it how you want it to be. I'm NewsBaba, and I'll see you on the next one.